This is a case study of moving on from an Excel spreadsheet. The reasons why you'd want to do that is manyfold. If you want to get data from the internet or to put that data on the internet. Also, too, there are limitations with the Excel view of the data, maybe a bit limiting in that it's a flat view, two-dimensional view. This is a more three-dimensional view of a typical sort of data scenario: customers, orders, order details, products, employees. So you have multiple entities in this diagram here, whereas in a spreadsheet it's not quite so well delineated. Here we have a simple spreadsheet that can be imported into a database. You can have more complex spreadsheets, like for instance this one here, and we have rows here of stores, and then further along here on the right we have columns here representing printed material in the store, point of sale, advertising, and then in this column here, columns and rows, we have the quantity of those items in each store. So three different entities there really, and quite difficult to import that sort of data into a typical database type setup, such as one we looked at earlier here, where we have several different tables and so forth. Even in this instance here, even importing this data here is quite tricky, because the standard routines are looking for data where the first row contains the field names, and subsequent rows the data itself. Here we have a unique format which would present a lot of problems with this standard import routine. However, it is still possible to import this data, and that's part of this case study here of some code I've written that does actually do that task. It can also import data and put it into multiple different tables as well. It's something else that we'll do. The other issue, of course, is the data is fractured across different tabs here as well. So that makes it also more difficult to import via standard import routines. Additionally, the data might be fractured again across several different spreadsheets. This one here covers one particular week, and there could be dozens of others covering other weeks yet, but they all want to be imported. So the ultimate goal really is to collate all this information into one table, such as these over here. We have some typical access type tables, and these ones here are actually SQL Server tables that have been linked into the Access application. So let's have a look at this, how this tool imports the data. We select the spreadsheet, such as this one here. We select the template, and I'll talk a bit more about that, such as that one there. And then we select the table that we wish to import the data into, that one there, and then we just push this button here to import it. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, we need to basically export or import these particular fields here, and as they are not in a standard format, we essentially need a map or a template in which we can find these values in the spreadsheet, and that's part of what I've developed here. You wouldn't normally edit the template, but importing different spreadsheets, but in this instance we'll have a look at that and see how that's done. So we'll edit the template. There we go. Now, actually specifying where the data is in this Excel spreadsheet is quite a laborious task if you were to map out each particular field and say that's in row 11 column D, and then this one here is in row 11 column E. That would be quite laborious. So this template or ability to create templates here speeds up the whole process really. And to create the template, we actually have to look into the spreadsheet, such as this one here, so we can see this view of data is in fact the same as on the spreadsheet itself. So we can scroll down to the data that we want to import. This is the summary data. And we can see that this is the data we want to import here. Now, to actually verify we're looking in the right place, this template focuses on the actual headings, column headings. So if I click on that column heading, we see that that's been recorded in our template earlier on. This is the sheet name is also recorded, the sales sheet, and this is the table it goes to, and the field name that it goes to here, over here. And also too, we record the fact that the data is below the heading and there are multiple values. So if we click over here, we see another reference point. So using this template, having set it up, we wouldn't normally go into edit it. We can essentially just start the import process here. And then there's a progress meter that shows the data being imported over here. So it saves a lot of time, works very quickly and automatically, and it has a fault-tolerant process where it's checking the column headings and making sure that somebody hasn't added another row or another column. If so, it'll come up with an error and explain what's going on there. And so to see why we were doing this and why we wanted to get it into the data from Excel into a typical database form, we can jump ahead now to a typical sort of use here when we see that we can combine oops. Okay, so there was just a modal message popping up saying the data import had read there, so that was preventing this screen from working. Here we see the tabs that we saw earlier on, so the data has been imported across the different tabs here, and we can select a particular tab. We can then select a week, so this represents, each column here represents a week of spreadsheets imported, and here we can also select employee down to the employee level if we wanted to. So well, anyway, we'll just select all employees. Now we can see this is actually showing us data from multiple different spreadsheets, so we wouldn't be able to see this combined view having the data in separate spreadsheets, and doing this shows us the data across multiple different tabs on the spreadsheet. So this total view of the data is not possible when it's all broken up in a spreadsheet, and really that's the point of this little process. There'll be a link to this Access application, VB application, further on in the in the website, and you're welcome to download it and modify it and use it for your own purposes. Thank you.